Hello, dear students. Welcome back to a news channel. Students, today we have two news articles. So, first, we will explore a magical event happening in the night sky, blood moon, and then we will talk about uh, GST. All right. So, students, have you ever looked at the moon and thought, wow, tonight moon looks a bit different. It's bigger, it's brighter. Well, today on September 7, what is happening? People in our country and other parts of the world will witness something truly special, a total lunar eclipse. Okay, total lunar eclipse, where the moon will appear dark red. Okay, and this stunning sight is called a blood moon. Now, to understand this, let's think about how a lunar eclipse works. See, normally what happens? We have sun. Okay, so sunlight shines on the moon, right? Sunlight shines on the moon, and that's why we can see it glowing in the night sky. But during total lunar eclipse, earth basically earth basically moves between the uh, sun and moon, right? So this is earth, and it totally blocks the path, as you can see here, right? So total lunar eclipse, earth moves between the sun and the moon, and this blocks the direct sunlight from reaching the moon. So you might think, if the earth blocks the sunlight completely, shouldn't the moon appear into darkness? Right? It should appear totally dark, right? But why does it appearing red? Now, interesting part is, not all sunlight is blocked. Okay, not all sunlight is blocked. Some sunlight, it basically sneaks it sneaks around the earth's edges, right? It sneaks around the earth's edges, and this is how uh, and through the atmosphere, the light bends and it reaches the moon, and this is where the magic happens. All right, so this coming rays, it basically, because of the earth's atmosphere, because of the atmosphere, it bends and then it reaches the moon. Now, why does the moon turn red then? Why does it appear red? Right, students, the answer lies in the process uh, called Rayleigh scattering. Rayleigh scattering. Now, don't worry, that's just a fancy name for something you have seen before. See, it's the same reason our sky looks blue and sunsets look red or orange. So, you know, in science class, you might have studied that sunlight is basically made up of many colors. And that is why we see rainbows. So sunlight is made up of many colors, and each color is having different wavelength, right? So colors like blue have short wavelength, while red has a longer wavelength. So when sunlight passes through the Earth's atmosphere, what happens? Blue light gets scattered in all direction. And this is why the sky is blue during the day, because blue light spreads everywhere. Red light, students, on the other hand, it travels more directly and it isn't scattered as much. So during a total lunar eclipse, the Earth's atmosphere filters out most of the blue light. तो जो बच जाएगा वो कौन सी लाइट है? रेड लाइट. So red light bends around the earth and it shines on the moon. So this make it appear red, and that is why we call it blood moon. Right. Now, students, the exact shade of red, it can change depending on what's in Earth's atmosphere. जैसे अगर जहाँ पे lots of dust or smoke is there, then the moon might look darker or more coppery. And if the air is cleaner, the moon might look brighter red. So, in a way, blood moon is like a natural painting made by Earth's atmosphere. Right? Now, why this event matters? Students, blood moons are not just beautiful to look at, they remind us of how interconnected our universe is. Okay, so this event will let sky gazers see a live demonstration of science in action. So don't forget to look up on moon today in news channel, and you'll be witnessing the moon, you know, in very beautiful color. All right. Now, students, let's go to the next article of the day. Yes. Students, have you ever gone shopping and noticed that sometimes prices suddenly go up or down? See, the big reason is taxes. Okay, taxes. What are taxes? It's the um, amount imposed by the government on products, right? So GST, what is the GST? GST stands for Goods and Service Tax. It's a tax we pay whenever we buy things like clothes, phones, snacks. We use services like cab ride, eating at a restaurant. Now you might be thinking, why we pay taxes? Yes, you have studied that in your mentorship classes. That tax is basically how uh, government earns revenue. Okay, and government need money na to run a country. Government need money to run government hospital, public spaces, right? So for all that, government require taxes, and GST is a kind of indirect tax. Now, it's a tax we pay whenever we buy certain things. So think of GST as a small extra amount that goes to the government to help build roads, schools, hospitals, public services, right? So, why is GST important? See, before GST, India had many different taxes and it was very confusing for businesses and customers. जैसे कि अगर कोई एक टॉय होगा उस पे a toy might have one tax in one state and a completely different tax in another. तो जैसे अगर आप कोई टॉय अब खरीद रहे हो एक स्टेट से गुजरात से खरीद रहे हो तो वहां पे अलग टैक्स रेट होता और अगर आप महाराष्ट्र से खरीदते तो वहां पे अलग टैक्स रेट होता. So this made it hard to trade goods across the country. So GST was introduced as single tax system for the whole nation, and this made buying and selling simpler. All right, this made buying and selling simpler because GST was introduced as one single tax for the whole nation. All right, now what happened recently? On September 3rd, GST Council, which is basically a group that decides tax rates, made a big change. They reduced the number of taxes and cut taxes on many products. So, this is called GST rationalization. And the idea is to make the system simpler and to give basically a boost to our economy. तो पहले क्या था, पहले बहुत तरह तरह के डिफरेंट टैक्स रेट्स थे, जैसे 0% हो गया, 5% हो गया, 12% हो गया, 28% हो गया, right? Plus an extra compensation tax on certain products. Now they have just simplified into just four main tax rates: 0%, 5%, 18%, 40%. Okay, so 40% is for very expensive luxury goods. So which goods became cheaper? Uh, good news is for many sectors. सबसे पहला तो जो है वो है health care, right? Health care items like medicines, medical equipment now have a lower GST. Okay, it's down from yes 12% to 5%. So this means patients will have to pay less for treatments. And also for renewable energy components जैसे सोलार पैनल्स हो गया, विंड इक्विपमेंट हो गया, तो वहाँ पे भी जीएसटी रेट कम हो गया. तो इससे क्या होगा? बेसिकली क्लीन एनर्जी प्रमोट हो रही है. So overall, many everyday products moved from higher tax rates to lower ones, making them more affordable. So you can just go through it. Okay, यहाँ पे सारा कुछ मेंशन है तो आप एक बार देख सकते हैं उसको. अब कहाँ कहाँ पर हायर टैक्स रेट्स देखने को मिला है? See, some luxury items saw an increase as well. For example, high-end cars, SUVs, they now have a flat 40%. Expensive clothing, expensive जो महंगे कपड़े होते हैं above 2500, it still has an 18% tax. So these changes ensure that basic goods remain affordable while luxury goods are taxed higher. तो जो luxury goods है उनको उन पर ज़्यादा टैक्स इम्पोज किया जा रहा है, राइट? और जो बेसिक गुड्स है वो अफोर्डेबल है. नाउ व्हाई वर दीज चेंजेस नेसेसरी? फॉर टू मेन रीजन. सबसे पहला तो क्या है, जीएसटी कॉम्पनसेशन पीरियड इज एंडिंग सून. सी, ड्यूरिंग कोविड-19 पैंडमिक, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने क्या किया था? सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट बोरोड मनी टू हेल्प स्टेट्स व्हेन टैक्स कलेक्शंस वर लो. जहाँ पे टैक्स कलेक्शन लो हुआ तो वहाँ पे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की हेल्प करने के लिए जीएसटी जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट थी उसने बोरो किया था मनी. नाउ अब ये जो मनी है वो रीपे हो गया है. सो टैक्स रेट्स was adjusted to basically to balance this, right? And what US did recently, it imposed a 50% tariff on Indian goods. So this makes Indian products more expensive in the US. So by reducing the GST, government hopes to keep our economy strong. तो अगर जीएसटी रिड्यूस किया जाएगा तो गवर्नमेंट ये सोच रही है कि हमारी इस इकोनॉमी स्ट्रांग होगी और जो बिजनेस है ताकि उनको ज़्यादा नुकसान ना हो, इसीलिए भी ये इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया. तो कौन कौन से लोग हैं जो खुश है, कौन कौन से सेक्टर खुश है? सबसे ज़्यादा तो हेल्थ केयर इंडस्ट्री, क्योंकि जो मेडिकल प्रोडक्ट्स है वो चीप हो जाएंगे. तो यानी कि हमारे लिए भी अच्छा है क्योंकि हमें ट्रीटमेंट बेटर मिलेगा, राइट? और अफोर्डेबल रेट पे. क्लीन एनर्जी सेक्टर इज ऑल्सो हैप्पी बिकॉज लोअर टैक्सेस विल हेल्प इंडिया मूव टूवर्ड्स रिन्यूएबल सोर्सेस. Who has concerns? Of course, textile industry. While they are happy about cuts on some item there is cut, and they feel at the same time they feel that the 18% tax on expensive clothes is quite too high. Then there are certain auto dealers who worry that customers might delay buying cars until the new rates come into effect. So this can cause a temporary drop in sales. स्मॉल बिजनेस हो गए, उन्हें भी एक फियर है कि जैसे पेपर वर्क हो गया, न्यू रूल्स माइट इंक्रीज, तो थोड़ा सा इस तरफ भी उनका कंसर्न है. अब गवर्नमेंट रेवेन्यू की अगर बात करते हैं तो व्हेन टैक्सेस आर रिड्यूस्ड, ऑफ कोर्स गवर्नमेंट अर्न्स लेस मनी इनिशियली. सो फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री एस्टिमेट्स दैट देयर माइट बी अ शॉर्टफॉल. And to cover this, states will need to find other ways to run funds like local taxes, new policies. So let's see how it unfolds. Now, why it matters to you? See, these tax cuts may affect the prices of things you buy, our family budget, even the sectors of economy uh, which are growing faster, right? So that is all about GST and rationalization of GST. So students, both news article that we have covered now, it tell us one thing: how interconnected our world is, right? So universe works in pattern, whether it's light scattering in the atmosphere or money flows through our economy. And yes, today is September 7th, so this will happen today only. So don't forget to look up and admire the blood moon. All right. And next time you are at the store, students, think about how government policies play a role in the prices you see. Okay. So thank you for joining me today, students. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye. Take care.